What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video I'll be showing you guys how to sew a 4-corner edge on senator. It's a little bit tricky, but we are going to do it step by step. So before getting into the video, you know what you're supposed to do. All you have to do is just to destroy the like button as fast as possible. And do you know that whenever you click on the like button, something is going to like pop out? Okay, just do it now before we get into the video. Smash the like button anyhow, and let's get straight into the video. Okay, so here I'm going to assume you already cut your bodice. This is what we're going to have on our bodice. Like after cutting it, you already cut it at exactly the length in which you want the blue to stop. Do you get the length in which you want the other color to stop, any color you're working with? So the next thing we're going to do now, you're going to cut out the extension, which is the second color. So I already cut both of them according to my bodice measurement. I believe you guys can see that. So cut everything out. So the next thing we're going to do now, the measurements are a little bit tricky, so you have to pay attention here. You have to pay attention. So now the first thing you're going to determine is how wide do you want the center corner to be. As wide as you want the center corner to be, how wide do you want it to be? On this one, I'll be going with 8 inches. Like the wideness in the for the blue in this inside of the black is going to be 8 inches, right? So that's 8 divided by 2. I'll be using 4 inches right there. I'm going to mark 4 inches. Now the second thing you're going to determine is how deep do you want the blue to come, the black to come inside of the blue. Whichever color you're working with, how deep do you want it to come inside? So on this one, we'll be working with 5 inches. 5 inches, so it's going to come in like 5 inches. You can see that. I'm going to mark it. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to use a ruler to connect those marked together. Don't forget to smash the like button, and if you're seeing this video for the first time, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to get notified. We always make our tutorial easy to follow step by step. You can just do exactly what I did and you're going to get, if not better results, I promise you. So we just connect it together. You can see that. Just connect it together. So the next thing I'm going to do after connecting it, I will cut it out. I'm going to cut that other side, which is going to be either way. Even if you want to do like a reversal, maybe your blue will be the one to, your black will be, that fabric I'm using is not actually a black, it's a deep black. It's like a black blue something. So it's not basically a black. So if you want it to be reversal, maybe the black will be the one to go inside. You can do the same thing, but here we are going to do, so I'm just going to cut this out. You can see that. Make sure whatever you're cutting in this part is very straight. It is important because that will determine the result of your angles, if they are going to be straight or they are not going to be straight. So the next thing we are going to cut here is on the blue. So I want you guys to pay attention here. So you're going to fold your fabric into 2 as well, the same way you fold your bodice, your main bodice. You're going to fold it just like this. Make sure the angle you're stitching is straight. The angle has to be very straight. And you're going to place it, it's going to overlap the black by your sewing allowance. And here the sewing allowance I'll be using on this side is going to be 1/2 inch. So I want you guys to pay attention. I'll be working with 1/2 inch here. So I'm going to mark it. I'm going to mark 1/2 inch at this side also, and I'm going to connect it in order to have a line to guide me. You can see that. Connect it, and now I'm going to place the bodice on it. You can see that. Make sure it's aligned very well and it is straight. Each of the edges are straight. That's very important. You can see that. Make sure the blue is on the chalk, and make sure this side also is straight. You can see that. Just take your time to align it very well. You can see what we're having. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to take in 1/2 inch from that side. You can see what I'm doing. 1/2 inch from inside of the blue. You can see what I did. 1/2 inch, because the sewing is going to be at 1/4 inch from the side, but from the top is going to be 1/2 inch. I believe you can see that. So I'm going to trace this one out. I'll use the blue to trace it out at that point, and I'm going to trace it out at this side also. You can see that. I'm just going to make a mark. So when I lift this side up, you can see what we are having down part. So I'm going to connect the first line. That's our baseline, and this one I'm going to make 1/2 inch at the top. That will be our inseam allowance. That will be the sewing allowance for the blue on the black. You can see that for the black on the blue, I mean. You can see that. So I'm also going to take another 1/2 inch at the baseline also. You can see that place. So I'm going to connect that one together also, and I'm going to connect this one together as well. You can see that. So after that, I will simply cut the inside out. You can see, and make sure your hand is straight when you're doing this. It's very important. You can see. You can see that. Just cut it out. So when I open the main bodice, you can see, and I simply place this on top of it, our design is already giving us the kind of shape we are looking for. You can see that. And this is now the tricky part, because you have to pay good attention to the process of attaching it to each other. That's very important. So now pay attention to the center point. The center point of the fabric, which is the gaiters, in which the place in which we fold. All you have to do first now is to apply, depending on how sharp you want it to be, I'll be applying a fusing at those edges. At the edges, make sure you're working with the wrong side of the fabric. I'm just going to chalk it. You can see, and this one also the wrong side. I'll be applying a fusing. I will be using a soft fusing. I'll be applying a fusing around the edges of the fabric, and both on the blue and on the black also. I'll be applying a fusing around it. So I'll just cut a pieces, maybe like just a 1 inch or an 1/2 inch of a fusing, just straight, and I'm just going to place it at the corner, just like that. You can see what I'm doing. This will make it this will make each of the angle that you're sewing to be sharp. It's going to help you sharp. If you don't have any steving at that edge, the angle will not be that sharp. I've tried it before, so make sure you apply a little bit of fusing at those edges. That is very, very important. So also here we apply fusing, so just make sure you apply all the fusing around the edges that we just cut out now. And also on the black. Okay, so after applying it, you can see that the front, if you look at the front, you can see that it is steving already, and the front is already looking sharp. You can see, make sure the fusing are very, very tight. So I'm just going to trim out all the fusing on the edges. You're going to do the same thing on the black also. Just trim them out. So this is what you're going to have. You can see how sharp each of the edges are looking. That's very important. So the next thing we're going to do now is to join it together. So first, at the center point of your fabric, which is our main bodice and also on the black, you can see I'm going to get the center point accurately. So just make sure the corner are aligned and the fabric are aligned. Iron it down, and I'm going to take a notch at that center point. Just take a notch right there. On the blue also, you can see that. So on the blue also, cover it together, get your center point accurately. Because if the center point is not accurate, your angle, your design is going to be warps. It's not going to be straight. So get your notch. So just notch that side also, you can see. So the next thing you're going to do now is to make sure the right side is facing the right side. So you're going to turn it like this. You can see that. You're going to start your stitch from the center point, to the second angle. So now we're going to do another measurement, and it's very important that you pay attention. Hit on the like button and let's do that. So if you align the center point at that side, you can see you will have to, our stitch here is going to be 1/2 inch. So I'm going to mark 1/2 inch at this side, because we're going to follow up with the marking that we're doing here. So on the black, I'm going to mark an 1/2 inch here, and I'm going to mark 1/2 inch here. So the sewing at this side is going to be 1/2 inch, joining the black to the blue. So I'm going to connect it together. So at this side also, this is where the tricks come in. You know, we're joining 1/2 inch at the lower part. So the side is going to be, we're joining two sides. So the side is going to be 1/4 inch and 1/4 inch. It's not going to be up to 1/2 inch at the side. You can see that. So here, all you have to do is just to place your chalk. I'm going to mark 1/4 inch from here. You can see that. 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, and 1/4 inch at this side also. You can see that. So I'm going to connect it together. So that's what we're going to follow when we're doing stitching. So after connecting it at this angle part, that's where our notch is going to be. So I'm going to simply mark the notch area also. You can see I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to do the same thing and mark the notch area. You can see what we have. You can see that. So the next thing we're going to do now is to join them together. So just place your black, make sure that you can see, make sure the right side is facing the right side and the notch are aligned. So just place it like this, and I'll be taking this to the sewing machine and stitching to the angle parts where our notch is going to end. So after stitching, you can see what I have here. I stitch from the center point to the angle right there. So if you look at the back side, this is what it's going to look like. So here I'm just going to make a notch to that stitch. Make sure you are not going beyond that stitch. That is very important. If you messed up that place, you've messed up the whole outfit. So just notch that place. You can see after notching that place, you're going to take this one backward to align it to the other side. You can see, make sure you align it to the other side. Okay, the notch is not reaching the edge of the stitch. So make sure it's reached the edge of the stitch, so that you're not going to be having a fold at that corner. So after that, you're going to align your fabric together. You can see that. You're going to align the side of the fabric together. Just align it like that. Make sure you open that place up very well, so that there's no wrinkling around that corner. You can see that. Align it, and I'm going to stitch on that line also all the way to the top, all the way to the angle, or all the way to that angle part. Okay, so you guys can see, you can see stitching all the way on the chalk to the angle part. So when I open this side up, you can see our corner is looking sharp already. You can see that our corner is looking sharp. You can see that. It's just a little bit tricky, but we're going to get a perfect result. So after giving it a good ironing, let me show you guys what we're going to have. You can see what we are having. You can see what we are having so far. I'm just going to iron it very well. Okay. So you can see the edge, how sharp the edge is. I'm still working with a normal iron. After using a steam iron, it's going to be perfect. So after that, the next thing we're going to do, the same thing you did here, you're going to do it on the side, on the other side also, before we're going to close the upper part. So at this upper part, as you can see, we'll be stitching half of an inch also, but I want you guys to pay attention here. I'll be making a mark at this edge, which is going to be the ending of the first fabric. This is going to be the ending of the blue. So I'll be marking half of an inch at the top. So, but let me join the side also so that you guys can see. So after joining this side also, you're going to do the same thing you did on this side also. So it's the same thing. So at the back, I'm just going to iron it from behind first. We're going to iron it in the front also. You can see that. Just give it a thorough and good ironing. You can see that. So the next thing we're going to sew now is the side part. So I want you guys to pay attention here. You can see what we're having, how sharp those edges are. So here from behind, just give it an iron from behind. Make sure it is relaxed from behind also. So here, make sure you align those fabric together. Make sure they are straight. Make sure they are straight. It is important because that will be the what will determine our closing at the side. So it is important that each of the side are straight before we'll be chalking that one. You can see that. So here, I'll just turn it to the back. So at this side, I'll be marking half of an inch at that top, half of an inch, and half of an inch. And I'm going to simply connect it together. You can see that. Let's connect it together. So that's the line we're going to follow during the stitching aspect. So what you're going to do now is very important. I'm going to simply make a notch at that edge from where our stitch that is coming from the down part ended. We're going to make a notch at that place. Simply hold it together and make a notch, ending exactly where our stitch ended. You can see that. So after that, I want you guys to pay attention here. It is very important. This place, the best way to align it is to align the fabric together, but the black is going to be taller than the blue from inside because you're using the edge, the total edge of the fabric to align it. So I want you to pay attention here. On the chalk, you can see that the black is taller than the blue. Reason because you are aligning it from the side, from this side here. After you align it together, it's going to be straight from the front. So just align it like that and stitch on the black. So after stitching, this is what you're going to have. You can see that. You can see that. So it's not straight from the, like, it's not laying flat. So all you have to do is at the back, just direct the fabric on the black also. Just direct the fabric, make sure it's facing on the black and overlap it. Then I'll simply give it a good ironing. You can see that. I'll just iron it. You can see that. Just iron it. So you can see what we're having in the front. All those edges that are not, that edges, we're still going to iron it with a steam iron, so it's going to be balanced. So all those are not issues. Just iron it, give it a good ironing. You can see that. You can see what we're having. So you're going to do the same thing at this side also. Balance this, then chalk it. And we're going to make our notch from the under part. You can see that the blue is the black is also overlapping the blue. That we make it straightened. You can see that. So this is what we're going to have in the front also. If you're enjoying the video so far, make sure you hit on that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It will make it to show you to other people that needed the video. So do that. That's the best thing you can do for this great video. So just hit on the like button and just give it a good ironing at this place. You can see that. You can see what we're having. So when I turn it to the front, this is what we will be having. All you need now is a thorough ironing. A steam iron will be perfect because you're working with an angle. Or if you don't have a steam iron, you can simply sprinkle some water on the fabric. You can see that. You can see what we're having. That side I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of water so that you guys can see how sharp the edge can come out. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of water. You can see from behind this what the back side is going to look like. I'm just going to trim out the excess. It's very important so that it will not make the outfit look too thick in the front. I'm just going to trim out those excess right there. You can see that. If you're here to subscribe, make sure you hit on the subscribe button. That is important. And turn on the notification bell to get notified when I upload newer videos. You can see that. Just push it. Just cut out the excess. Cut out the excess. So far. So in the front, our design is ready. So I'll just sprinkle some water here so you can see the result we're going to have, how sharp the edge is going to be. Let me just sprinkle water at that corner. Let me iron it down. You can see that we've get rid of the wrinkling around that corner. That is important. So take a closer look at this. You can see how balanced. You can see this other side that is still wrinkling. So just sprinkle some water, make sure it's balanced very. So that's about it on this video. If you like the video so far, still don't forget to hit on the like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel to see more video that I'll be uploading. There's so many videos that are coming up. So I'll see you guys on another video. If you want to watch that video, just click on the screen.